It should be.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
what's up?
Well, I'm glad to connect with you. It's been really busy, and I know that you missed the other call.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give you some time. I don't have that much time today, but I just figured it's better to get on for 15 minutes or so and just see what's on your mind. And then I'm going to be doing some more group sessions, sort of I'm getting a lot of people who are interested, which is great, and sort of doing some open sessions where people can, fans talk about stuff, ask questions. So that'll be great. So there'll be other chances, but while you have me for 15 minutes or so, let me know about you, what's going on, tell me about your Bop-It stories, what's the most interesting to you?
Well, I've been a Bop-It fan since, I think 96 actually. Like when the first one came out. That's when I was around, was 94, and I got into Bop-It when it first came out, if I remember correctly.
That's great.
And I happen to have, if I can reach it over here, something else you might recognize.
Oh, yeah. I got one of those right here. That is one of the coolest. Does that one still work?
Yeah, it still works. Just got it recently.
There was some faulty, when that came out, one of the reasons it didn't do as well was there was a faulty switch. This switch here.
Yeah, so, like the strummer or whatever.
This thing doesn't really, sometimes the switch doesn't, basically, you did it correctly, but it doesn't read it. So they had to actually air freight a bunch of them. I think I told the other group when they were calling, that was a real disaster for Hasbro when they had to airship those.
Was it rushed?
Yeah, they had to airship it, so it got there in time for the holidays. They didn't sell as many of them, and it just hurt all of their promotion. And so it probably was responsible for killing the product.
Yeah.
A lot of these products sell a certain amount, or they'll sell on clearance, but unless they make the toy company money, they don't continue them. So we really thought New Jam was going to become a really big line. And remember, this is before Guitar Hero. So it was a guitar game.
I always tell my friends who are interested in it, it came out, it predates Guitar Hero, and it's so much better in that regard.
Yeah, they're different. The Guitar Hero is about actually playing music. And to be honest, there was another game did you ever have, no, it wasn't, unfortunately, it turned into less of a game and more of a guitar, is the Power Tour, is one that we also did. Did you ever see this one?
I might have seen that once or twice.
And this one, it turned into a toy that sort of lit up its keys. But if you look at this interface, see how the light goes here?
Yeah.
That look familiar, like Guitar Hero. Originally, we had envisioned that this would come down and that you would strum right as the light hit the center bar, much like Guitar Hero. So this was supposed to be, in our mind, again, before Guitar Hero, this was supposed to be like a Guitar Hero interface. It just shows that a lot of things, great ideas often don't succeed for just one or two little reasons.
Yeah. I also have another one of your inventions with me. I believe it's in my drawer.
The Groove It.
Yep. I'm
literally a little bit of a story on that right now to go out later tonight on TikTok. I'm actually talking about how obviously these look similar, right?
Yeah.
Groove It and Simon Air. And actually, Simon Air would not have existed if it wasn't for Groove It, because Groove It didn't do as well also, but because it was the first game that had these gestures in it that we did, it allowed it. Basically, I have a picture of taking a Groove It, putting colored lights over the light sensor areas, and then that became the prototype for this, and that's how Simon Air became a product, because Simon was a much better brand than Bop-It for this. You have any thoughts?
There's another game that uses gestures that immediately comes to mind, and that predates Simon Air. That's Loops. You ever hear of Loops?
Loops. It was done. Well, yeah, Groove It was done, I believe, before Loops, just a little bit before. So they were. That was why we didn't do it sooner. Is Loops was out, and it kind of pissed us off, me and my partners, because we felt we were ahead of that curve, and that although it was a great game, it was really well executed. I thought they did it. Definitely. Yeah. But the fact of the circular design, that why Simon Air turned into this was because Groove It was this. I always thought that was an interesting trivia.
Yeah. Groove It's one of the best ones too.
Which Simon Air?
No, Groove It was always one of my favorites.
Oh, really? That's funny. A lot of people didn't like it or didn't get it. It didn't sell that well. What did you like about it?
The way the motion sensor technology worked. I thought that was really innovative for the time.
Yeah, it was. I think what I was just saying in this video was that if you think about Bop It and how everything was about lots of hand motions, and then did you end up having? Did you have a chance to top it?
I used to have a Top It a long time ago.
So, Top It came out after Bop It Extreme to encourage more physical motion. And also there was Zing It.
I have Zing It. It's not on me right now. It's in my backpack, but I do have a Zing It.
Which didn't, I was very disappointed with the way there was some weird stuff in the programming. That was before me and KID started doing the programming on the Bop-Its. This was, it didn't really play that well, I thought, but these were all about getting people's physical motion, right? So Groove It was the idea that even more motion you could get out of gestures than by making it a hands-free experience. And so that was kind of neat. How I'm glad to hear you like, that's how this one came about. And did you have, do you remember how far you've taken this game? How high of a score? Because it's hard to get a pretty high score on it, isn't it?
I think I might have gotten 55, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Cool. And so tell me more about with games. What kind of games do you like to play besides the Bop-It games?
Let's see if it's over here. I like playing this game in my spare time as well.
Is that Torx?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that's not one of your inventions. Am I right?
It wasn't just the way the toy industry works. It was inspired, I think, by Bop-It for sure. And it actually made me really pissed off when Hasbro decided to do it, because I felt it wasn't really in keeping with the way inventor relationships work with companies. They shouldn't have done it, in my opinion. So they made us, basically we settled with a certain agreement, but that I think, that's an example of just the way the toy industry works. When you have an idea, well, let me ask you how it used to say, bend it, fold it. And I made them change it to me. If you notice, right? It says bend me, fold me.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's because I told them that if you're going to come out with two products and one of them's called Bop It, and very shortly after you come out with this Torx It, or whatever they called it, it was too much infringing on the branding of Bop It to have two games that gave you an It. Not that they had to do it, but it was nice that Hasbro decided that was a good recommendation, and that's why the audio was changed.
Yeah. Now, if you don't mind me asking, is there an origin for the word Torx, or does it come from something, or where did that come from?
I wasn't involved with that, with the naming of that. But torquing, when you torque something, it's like a torque wrench. It's to put, it's to bend or spin or turn something. So that's cool that you like those physical games then.
Yeah, they've helped me with my hand-eye coordination over the years and fast reflexes.
Do you know about Well, so when you said it, that we were proud that the guitar games predated Guitar Hero, the other thing that I always found was quite, I felt like the games that I was trying to push with physical motion were ahead of the curve was when the Wii came out. And the Wii really took the idea of physical motion beyond thumbs and fingers, into I just loved the Wii. I don't know. What did you think of the Wii?
The Wii was all right. Used to have one as a kid.
Well, more for the kid, Matt, not for gamers, but for kids, physical experience. I felt it really, I loved the way it made people move.
Like, I used to play Wii Sports all the time. That was the best.
Yeah. So what did you think of the Bop-It Gestures game that came out? It's kind of like that with the, did you play that one recently?
The one on the Hasbro Family Game Night collection?
This one, where it says, it has the commands hammer it and golf it and answer it and selfie it.
I think I have that one on standby.
Yeah. This one was sort of, if you think about it, it was kind of combining a lot of the things in the past. Yeah. Is that it? Yeah. That's weird. It's got a red hand.
The Sonic Clear edition.
Cool. Yeah, that one was a pretty ambitious use of the accelerometer technology. And I thought it was a pretty, I really liked it. I think if you've played it, you notice that the bop is not a button, it's just a accelerometer, and a lot of people think about that.
As a matter of fact, my day program has that same Bop-It. They love it so much. It's one of their favorites.
They do like it, yeah. It's pretty silly. And so are you? What do you do? Do you work at all in any area of the gaming industry?
No, I wish I could, because I've always wanted to invent my own game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty small. Well, video games is a much bigger industry. The toy industry is small and getting smaller, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, for reference, the one game that I actually got recently that's more of an indie electronic game is probably Flipside, if you've heard of that game before.
I do know a friend of mine invented that. I thought that was pretty neat. It's being distributed by Moose Toys, and it was very clever. They tried it, I believe, with Hasbro originally, and
really,
it was in there for a while, and then Hasbro passed on it. I think they were trying to make it more like a Rubik's game or something, and I thought that the company that did it, Moose Toys, did a great job with it.
Like, that's something that I hear a lot of people compare it to, is a combination of the Rubik's Slide and the Bop-It Tetris.
Yes, very much. Yeah. Bop-It Tetris started out a little bit like that. And, but I really wanted to get that. I don't know. Have you played Bop-It Tetris a lot?
Bop-It Tetris is pretty fun. Another one of my favorites.
I like to say that's the one that has the deepest gameplay, the true gameplay, because of all the things that we did with the pixels, the ability to blast with the red squares and all, as you play, it sort of surprises you as the levels get more complex. And I really love that game. Yeah, do you know why it didn't do as well? It did okay, but why do you think it's not still around?
Low sales, maybe, I'm guessing?
Yeah, low sales, but this is that really, really hard part in this handheld electronic game industry, is that you can't make that game for the mass market and sell it for $20. It needs to be sold for $25. But that extra $5 difference pretty much kills items like that. People just don't want to spend $25, even though 20 years ago, a Bop-It was $20 and a Bop-It Extreme was $25. it doesn't matter. Like people, you would think that that means today those products should be $30, just like a cup of coffee used to be $1 or 50 cents, and now it's $3.
Yeah.
But toys have not kept up with inflation, and that's really the hardest part about doing what we do. Is you're expected to make these great experiences with hardly any budget in the product compared to what we used to have. So it's extremely challenging. Bop-It Tetris, which honestly, I don't know that it needed to be a Bop-It. I just thought it would be a great game on its own. But because,
I also thought that was a great idea and concept, a Bop-It and Tetris mashup. That's a really good idea.
Thank you. Yeah, I had it. I had that written on a piece of paper for 5 years. Before that, I just knew that I was addicted to Tetris, and I loved the way the shapes dropped, and that you had to decide which way to rotate the shapes. And so I felt that it was similar to Bop-It, in that Bop-It was always getting faster, just like Tetris, and that it kept coming at you like Tetris, and you had to decide which way to rotate or pull something. So I kept thinking, I just wrote down on a piece of paper, Bop-It, Tetris, what is it? And I put it on my bulletin board, and I would look at it every once in a while and think, I really want to invent Bop-It Tetris. And one day I went into the shop and I built that. What you can see in the video I've shared, it's a stop motion simulation where I literally mocked up these things. I kind of thought, well, you're turning the pieces and you're pushing them. I had this vague idea and started building this model without even knowing where I was going with it. And then instead of doing anything with high tech, I just used stop motion photography to animate the squares like pieces of paper that were just different colors, so that we could look on film and go, yeah, that makes sense. Because if it didn't look fun on a video, it wouldn't even matter to make it. So it really made sense looking at the video, and that's why that led to it becoming a real product. Was all testing it first as this sort of stop motion video. But I'm glad you liked it. It's really one of the ones I'm most proud of.
Now, one of my personal favorite Bop-Its is, let's see, I think it's over here, the Bop-It Extreme 2.
Yep.
That is one of the best ones I've ever played. Recently beat it too, actually.
What do you think what makes that one great?
The way that the music changes in between. I always thought that was pretty cool. The headphone jack, the first one to add volume adjusting. One of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's right. It really elevated the Bop-It Extreme experience. The headphone jack was something I was pushing for 2 or 3 years, because I kept hearing people saying, oh, it's too noisy and it's this. And then it was, well, maybe it's good that it's noisy, because then people pay attention to it. And, but the idea that, and have you ever played it through, well, I guess through good headphones or through a stereo, you hear the bass line, right? The really strong bass.
Yeah, like whenever you do an action, it changes, right? Like
it changes.
There's like a note. There's a note that changes for every time you do an action.
Yes, that's it, and it's a subwoofer type frequency. So if you ever play it through really good speakers or speakers with good bass, you'll hear you don't hear in the toy. It's really a nice soundtrack. And I know a lot of musicians have sampled that one, because one, at an audio port, so you could get music out of it easily. But if you Google or search YouTube or TikTok for songs made that are sampling Bop-It, it's usually, a lot of them are Bop-It Extreme 2, because it was such a cool sound riff. But yeah, there's a lot of music Bop-It inspired, apparently, that I didn't even know about, that I've been finding lately.
It's also much easier to hold because of the grips on the sides. That's another thing I like about it.
The rubber grips, yeah.
Like the rubbery grips. That was a pretty cool idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, I believe, the designer at the time, I think, was Dan Sanfilippo at Hasbro, who I think he's the one that figured that out. It's really cool. Well, any other questions you have about Bop-It or something you've been dying to know or thoughts or ideas?
Something I've always wanted to know, who was the VA for the Bop-It Extreme 2?
Who's the voice?
Yeah.
You know, for some reason, I have the hardest time remembering his name because it switched a few times. It was different. Each of these products was different. This was different. This was different. The original, and I keep on. I didn't know him like the other actors, but I remember there was some back and forth, and I have to look up his name. I'll find it out, but I keep spacing out his name. Yeah, but he was, those are guys that are called in through the media department at Hasbro when they do recordings for things and they do a voice session. And sometimes it was just a one-time deal, and then other things. In fact, one of the products, I believe, on the Bop-It Beats, it was a friend that usually does all the audio with us. His voice got used for that just because we were using it. A lot of times we'll prototype it with the voice and sounds, and sometimes in that case we just used his voice. But other than that, I think that Buddy Rubino, since 2008, has really brought a whole new life to the product. And so hopefully his voice is here to stay for a while. He's become a friend, and I really love his sense of humor. And I don't know, what do you think of his voice compared to the Bop-It Extreme 2 voice?
Like you said, he brings a lot more life into the Bop-It, especially with the 2016, the new moves, or whatever you call it. It's definitely, it's really awesome to have like someone that does like a lot of funny things for the Bop-It.
Yeah. And the improv that he did, they do a lot of those funny things that people say that he says are some are thoughts that, the scriptwriter might have had, but sometimes it's just him ad-libbing. So it's pretty cool.
One of my favorites was hashtag Bop-It fail. That was like the funniest one.
Oh,
whenever you lose.
One of the things he says, hashtag
yeah.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Yeah, I don't get that one very often. Did you see the recent video I did? Maybe it wasn't posted yet on Instagram with what I call the Unibop, the single button.
Yeah, I think I might have even retweeted that.
This idea. This one?
I think so. I might have retweeted something. I think I retweeted something from you last night.
This one, well, I did the one about the stock, the GameStop thing, where I made a video showing the idea that Bop-It was behind the trading of GameStop. That was last night. I did that one, but this one maybe was this. I call it the Unibop. And I don't know if I put this one on. I put it on TikTok, but not. What do you think of a Bop-It that's just a single button?
Oh, I think I might have seen a similar video. It was like this person that was holding just a Bop-It button. Is that what I'm remembering?
Yeah, I did. It would be me holding the Bop-It button. But
really?
Unless you saw someone else did a video like that.
It might have been you then. I might be remembering that correctly.
Yeah, but the idea that the Bop-It is just a single button, and I'm not sure, thinking of making this one and maybe putting different secret, like hidden voices in it. Like if you get to a certain level, when you stop, when it says something to you, when you've stopped, like one of those funny expressions that it says, there's might be surprise voices hidden in it. So you never know. If you push it once, it would go Bop-It, and then it would stop and say, oh, do it the same but better. And if you hit it twice, it might stop and say, I remember my first Bop-It. But if you did it 100 times or 200 times, when you stop, it might say something you've never heard before. And the idea would be you never know when you stop, so if you stop it, because it's easy to keep going with it. So the idea is how, if you go to 320, maybe there's a hidden celebrity voice in there that you only discover if you stop at a certain point. it would probably drive people crazy because, but sort of, I really want to do a bop it that's just one button. Not sure if everyone else agrees with that, but I got something else I can send you if you'd like, since you're such a big fan. I'll tell you what. Let me show you what I just put together. I just created some Bop It stickers.
Ooh,
and they've got
cool.
They've got the Bop It Inventor signature that I put my sort of my at Bop It Inventor there. And the idea is that these stickers, for instance, here it is on the back of my laptop. So you can basically turn anything you want into a Bop It.
That is ingenious. I love that so much.
So if you'd like, leave me your address in Instagram, and I will drop a few of these in the mail, and you can do whatever you want with them.
That'd be awesome. I really appreciate that.
Sure. You put them on something. You can make your own Bop It out of something. So, yeah, well, anything else? I'm sorry, I have another call I have to get to, and I'm sorry we had a little trouble connecting, so I went over, but I really enjoy talking to you, and thank you so much for being a great fan and for all of your commenting on social media and forwarding things. There's a lot more to come, a lot of exciting, fun things, and I look forward to hearing what you think. Do you, anything you would think would be fun for the 25th anniversary? Anything that what do you think should happen this year? Any
maybe a more modernized version of the Extreme formula, like the refresh, except in the Bop It Extreme formula. That'd be insane. I'd love that.
Hold that thought for next year. Next year, hopefully. So here's what you're going to see coming up. I'll give you, before we go, one sneak preview. There have been almost, I think I've counted, maybe you know how many Bop Its there have been over 25 years. But I never know how to answer. I've actually never quite, it's hard to say how you count certain things, like true variations versus actual model numbers. And what I want to do is I'm going to take the top 16 of them, and I want to do a tournament the way they do the basketball tournament, with the sweet, how the basketball March Madness, where they do the tournament. I want to do it where it's going to be a bop off between all the Bop Its that have been made in the past, for people to vote for which one they want to see come back next year. So
that's awesome.
I'm going to just put a bunch of videos up so people can vote on just the whole video, but then I'm going to take the finalists and I want to do bop offs with those. So it'll be like Bop It Extreme versus Bop It Smash, which of those should be made next year. And if enough people, I think Hasbro's agreed that if we get enough people to say which one would people actually buy again, that might be that might actually come true. So watch for that soon, and appreciate you spreading the word.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you finally and talk to you, and I look forward to look for these things. I'm probably going to do once a month, sort of just open sessions to talk to people and kind of get ideas and things. But maybe on this thing called Clubhouse, there's this other new platform coming up where you can do that easily. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks, and we'll catch you online.
All right. Thank you so much for the interview.
You're welcome. So you want me to send you a link to this?
Yeah, the MP4.
Yeah, I think I could just send you a link, and you can let me know if you can download it and all that.
All right.
Okay. All right, Joe. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
All right.